Hi guys, welcome to part 1 of the Freedom from Anxiety workshop. I just wanted to congratulate you first of all, because you are here watching this now. It means that you have realized that maybe you're feeling stress and anxiety, and just by doing that, that is the first step to begin to move through anxiety instead of being stuck there. So well done. My name is Taryn. I am a clinical hypnotherapist and NLP practitioner for the Mind Clinic NZ. And what I do is help people that are stuck in some area of their life. So they might be stuck in anxiety, they might be stuck in a fear or a phobia, they might be stuck with a whole lot of physical weight that they can't get rid of. Or they might be stuck in some area of performance, like maybe they're not performing how they want to in sports or in business. And what I help them to do is to shift their mindset and to open up their mind to see things in a new way and to be able to move through that thing, whatever their thing is. So I help them to have freedom, right? So, excuse me, the tools that I use for my therapy are hypnosis and NLP and some other techniques thrown in there as well. During this workshop today, I'm going to be giving you some techniques, and then in part 2 you'll get another technique, and then in part 3 we'll do some hypnosis as well. So bear with me. Obviously we're all at home at the moment, so there might be some background noise from my family that's here as well, and maybe you've got some background noise too. So it would be a good idea to grab some headphones and also a piece of paper and a pen, maybe that you might want to write some things down. Okay, so let's get into it. The part of the mind that I work with is called the subconscious mind. So you have two parts to your mind. You have the conscious part and the subconscious. Your conscious mind makes up 7, maybe 10% of your mind. That is the part that you think with every day. It's the voice in your head. It's the one you make decisions with. Okay, so the part that I work with is called the subconscious mind. And that makes up the other 90 to 93% of your mind. Okay, your subconscious mind is completely habitual. It runs on habit. It runs on programming. What happens is we have 40 million pieces of data coming at us per second from our environment. And built into the subconscious mind are these filters. We have a filter system, right? Because there's no way we could process 40 million pieces of data at once, could we? That's just crazy. Okay, so we have these filters set up. I'm just gonna show you a slide to explain it as well. Okay, so you have all of this information coming in. Then you have these filter systems, things like language, memories, decisions, beliefs, values, attitudes, and strategies. And then from there, whatever goes through the filter system and the subconscious mind decides is important for you, that is the information that you then get from the outside environment. Okay, so this filter system and the programming in your subconscious mind was set up, most of it was set up by the time that you were 7 years old. So a lot of the programming was done by your parents or people that you were around a lot at that time. So your siblings, your teachers, people like that. So your subconscious mind is extremely powerful and it's very, very fast. But like I said, it completely runs on habits and it runs on what it's learned so far. So if you have programs in there that are built for anxiety, that's what's going to happen. So during this workshop, you're going to also learn how to break down that program, how to understand where it's come from and understand your triggers. That's going to be in part 2. Okay, but today we're just learning about the subconscious mind and what anxiety actually is. So we're going to do a little suggestibility test. Okay, this is to prove to you how powerful your subconscious mind is. All right, so what I want you to do is close your eyes and just imagine that you have a big juicy lemon in your hand, right? A really, really big one. And you can see the lemon. You can see the beautiful color of it. You can feel the waxiness in your hand, right? Maybe you can even smell it, that really strong citrus smell. And I want you to imagine that you are cutting a piece of that lemon. Okay, so cut a big piece. And as you cut that piece of lemon, you can see the juice running out of it and dripping down the knife. And then grab that piece of lemon, pick it up in your hand and bring it close to your face. And you can smell that citrus smell really strongly now. And you can feel that juice running down your hand. And then what I want you to do is shove that piece of lemon into your mouth. Shove it in there and chew it up. Really cram it in there. All right? Notice what it's like. Notice the sourness. Notice the flavor running all across your tongue and all around your mouth. And then I want you to open your eyes. Okay, now what is happening in your mouth right now? There's a lot of saliva in there, right? Your body is having the reaction of that lemon actually being in your mouth. But where's the lemon? It's in your imagination, right? Yes. So that's how powerful your subconscious mind is. Your body only knows what your mind tells it. Okay, so your mind said that you were eating a piece of lemon and your body had the response as though you were. So I want you to keep that in mind as we move on to the next part. Okay. I'm going to share my screen with you again. All right, so let's move on to our next slide. So this is what happens when we enter into what I call the stress and anxiety cycle. Okay, so first of all, we have a thought that takes us away from the present moment. So if we think of the present moment as what's happening right here, right now, in this very second. So we have a thought that takes us away from the present moment. So something that we would probably worry about or get a bit upset about or maybe feel stressed or anxious about it. Our mind then releases the chemicals into our body, the stress and anxiety chemicals like adrenaline and cortisol, which begins the stress response in our body. Our body then goes into the stress response. Our heart starts beating really fast. We might get shaky. We might feel a bit sick or get really hot. And then our mind starts going really quickly. And then our body, having this response, is confirming to our mind that there's something wrong, okay, which begins the stress and anxiety cycle. So if you imagine it this way, so say you're sitting on your couch at home, right? And we're going to use this situation that we're in right now with COVID-19. Okay, if you start thinking about the fact that you need to go to the supermarket because you're running out of food. Okay, so you're sitting on your couch, you have the thought, I need to go to the supermarket. Then another thought joins it. I really don't want to go to the supermarket, right? Who wants to go right now? Okay, then another thought joins it. Oh, I'm going to have to wait in that line. I wonder how long that line's going to be. What if it starts raining? What if I'm caught out in the rain and I've got to wait in this line? And then another thought joins it. Oh, I wonder how many people are going to be there. I wonder if everyone's going to be wearing gloves or a mask. Maybe I should wear gloves or a mask too. And then what's it going to be like when I get inside? Is everyone going to give me the space that I need, or is it going to be really crammed? Is everything going to be there that I need? Am I going to have to go to another supermarket as well? Right? So by the time you've had all of these thoughts backing up together, your mind has done exactly what it's supposed to, and it has sent out the stress response to your body. Right? Then your heart starts beating faster and you start thinking more and more thoughts. Your breathing starts to get faster, right? And then that confirms to your mind there's something wrong. So your mind starts thinking, oh, what if I run out of money? What if I get to the counter and my EFTPOS card doesn't work? And oh, what if I have to touch those buttons? And you're fully in the stress response like you are at the supermarket and these things are happening. okay? And then all of a sudden, your phone rings and you're like, oh my gosh, okay. And then you answer your phone, right? And you start talking to the person on the phone. Your mind comes back to the present moment. It has to, because it has to concentrate on the conversation that you're having. Your breathing starts to decrease again, right? And you start to calm down. Why? Because your mind has come back to the present moment. And all of this has happened while you're just sitting on your couch at home. Okay, but like I said before, your body only knows what your mind tells it. Your mind told your body that you were in the supermarket with all of this stuff going on, so your body was having that exact same response. Okay, and this is what happens anytime we think about something stressful or anxious, whether it's to do with work, whether it's to do with COVID stuff or your kids, like anything at all, where you have that mind projection away from the present moment. This is exactly what's happening. Okay. Moving along. So, what kind of things do you guys experience? And everybody's different, okay? What kind of things do you guys experience when you are feeling anxious? Okay, so everybody does this differently. But when you begin to understand the way that stress and anxiety manifests for you, that is when you can start doing something about it. So a lot of my clients that have anxiety or that are really stressed out will say that they can't sleep at night, right? They can't stop thinking about whatever it is that is going on in their life that is causing this anxiety. And the reason that this happens is because you are at nighttime when you go to bed, right, and your body relaxes and your mind starts to relax, the rest of your mind goes, oh, hang on a minute, you haven't thought about this, you haven't done that. Now's a great time for you to start thinking about this, right? It's not, but your mind thinks it is because you're not keeping it busy with something else. Okay, so that's when you get the worrying thoughts and you get the what ifs, the mind projections. What if this? What if that? What if I run out of money? What if I get sick? What if my kids can't go back to school? What if? Okay. A lot of people will pick up habits to cope with anxiety, unfortunately. Things like eating, drinking, smoking, shopping, anything like that. And it really is to keep their mind busy, right? What happens when you're eating or when you're drinking or when you're shopping? Your mind is brought into the present moment, isn't it? You enjoy that drink, you enjoy that food that's coming into your body. You're giving your mind a focus point to take it away from the anxious thoughts. When you spend a lot of time in fight or flight mode in the stress and anxiety cycle, one of the first things that shuts down in your body is your immune system. So what happens when we enter into this cycle is that our immune system shuts down, our digestive system shuts down, speak properly, and the blood and all the resources and the oxygen and everything gets sent to your extremities so that you can fight, flight, or freeze, right? So it shuts down all of these other important parts of our body that we really need, like our immune system, especially at the moment, right? So then we're more susceptible to getting sick. So the fight-flight response was really helpful for us when we needed to survive. Things like if you were out berry picking with your friend and you saw a saber-toothed tiger, like way back in the day, this response is really good because then you could run away, right? Or you could fight it, or do something like that. But nowadays we don't have saber-toothed tigers, and our mind still has this response, which is designed to keep us safe. That's what it's for. But it's not so helpful when we don't have those extreme measures going on. And we really need to learn how to get ourselves out of this response in order to stay healthy and stay fit, and to protect ourselves from those kind of things. Okay, we're also less productive. When we're in the fight or flight response, our mind is 50% less effective than it is when we're calm, which is crazy, right? So if you're in fight or flight, if you're in stress and anxiety, you're not working to your full potential. When we spend a lot of time in stress and anxiety, we get moody. For some people, it manifests as being angry or being really grumpy, which isn't nice for our family. And it's not nice for our co-workers and the people that are around us, right? It's hard to deal with. Now, because people sometimes use food as a way to get out of anxiety, we put on weight, okay? But we also put on weight because our body is not digesting food in the way that it should be. So it's not working properly. So we're gathering a lot of weight as well. Sometimes we can spiral down into depression when you spend a lot of time in stress and anxiety because you're not getting those happy chemicals that you need in order to stay calm and comfortable and confident, which in turn means that our relationships begin to suffer, right? And what happens when we're constantly doing something all the time, when we're constantly entering into stress and anxiety, when we do something over and over and over again, it becomes a habit, right? What's actually happening in your brain is that you're building up neural pathways to support the stress and anxiety response happening. So when you do that and you do it over and over and over again, you're actually strengthening those pathways in your brain, which means that the response can happen more quickly and more often the more that you do it. Okay. So last little bit for you today. Last little bit for part 1. Okay. This is your first technique. And I know I say it all the time. If you've been following us for a while, you will know this is the number one thing I tell people to do. And it is breathe. Just breathe. That's all you have to do, okay? And it's not just breathe normally, of course. It's deep breathing. It's diaphragmatic breathing. If you don't know what that is, look it up on Google. But I'll give you a quick explanation now. It's where you really expand your lungs and your stomach. You breathe into your stomach first, fill that up, and then breathe up into your lungs. And then deflate your stomach first, and then deflate your lungs, okay? So the technique that I give to people in my workshops is the easiest one to remember. It's square breathing. All you have to do is pick a square. You're probably watching me on a square right now, so use that one, okay? And you're going to breathe in for one side of the square, hold for the next side of the square, exhale down, and hold. And you're going to take at least 5 seconds on each of those sides. Okay, so you're going to breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out, 2, 3, 4, 5. And hold, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and keep going with that. Do, a minute or 2 of that. And when you breathe in this way, what actually happens is you reset your nervous system. So by counting, by looking at the square, you are focusing your mind in the present moment, okay? And by breathing in this way, diaphragmatically, you are allowing your body to take the lead and tell your mind that there is nothing wrong, okay? The only time that you breathe in this way is when you are so relaxed that you're falling asleep at night. So this is when you're comfortable, you're relaxed, right? And your body is telling your mind, it's okay, we can go to sleep now, there's nothing to worry about, okay? So that is the only time you breathe like that. This is how you trick your mind into focusing on the present moment, and you trick your body into believing that there's nothing wrong, because there is nothing wrong, right? When you're sitting on your couch at home without that mind projection that we talked about earlier, there's nothing wrong, okay? So the more that you practice this breathing, the more that you keep yourself out of the anxiety cycle, okay? Now, the best time to use this breathing is when you're feeling fine, right? Just practice it. Then what you can do is when you start to notice that you've been in the anxiety response and at the beginning, you may not notice until you've come out of it, until that phone rings, like we talked about before. But even then, as soon as you realize that you've been in it, start breathing in this way, okay? As soon as you realize your heart's starting to beat faster, that your mind is going so fast that you can't stop it, start breathing in this way. The more that you start breathing in this way, the more you are going to build up the neural pathways that we talked about before to support this response happening instead of being stuck in the anxiety cycle. And I promise you, I promise, the more that you do this, the more it will work. Okay, I've been doing this for years, and now if I don't even notice that I've gone into the anxiety response, all of a sudden my body just goes, and I start breathing in this way, and then I go, oh, I must have entered into the anxiety response, because I've built up that program that says when this response starts, this is the way I breathe. Okay, so now I don't even have to think about it. It just happens automatically. And this will happen for you too. This has happened to my clients. I use this technique. I give workshops for a lot of teachers. They use this in their classes, and they've said that it makes a huge difference with the kids. So I promise you, it will work. You just need to keep using it. Okay, so start off by using it as soon as you've noticed that you've come out of the anxiety response. Then you'll start to notice during the anxiety response that it's happening. Bring in the breathing. Okay, and then just keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it, and you will build up that habit. You'll build up that response happening automatically, and you won't even have to do anything. Okay, the other thing that you can do, I'm actually going to give you another technique right now as well, and it's your last thing that you need to learn today, is the grounding process. Okay, so this is bringing your mind into the present moment. Okay, so it's super, super easy. Just 5 things that you can see. Okay, and it's not just wall, curtain, chair. It's actually, okay, there's a white wall over there. There's a black curtain there. So 5 things you can see. 4 things that you can touch. Actually touch them. Feel what it's like, you know. Oh, my hair is really thick and, you know, it feels like this. Oh, this pillow is really soft and it feels like this in my hands. Okay, so 4 things you can feel. 3 things that you can hear. Okay, so if there aren't 3 sounds around you, just make one that you can listen to. What does it sound like? Okay, 2 things that you can smell. Maybe you can only smell one thing, which is okay, and maybe you want to do a round of square breathing for your other thing. And then 1 thing that you can taste or do with your mouth. Maybe you want to run your tongue around your teeth or make a noise with your mouth. Okay, so using your 5 senses and doing 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 of those, by the time you've done all of that, your mind is back in the present moment. It's back in your physical body. Okay, so this is just another technique to bring you back to the present moment, to bring you out of that response. Okay, so that is part 1, over and done with. If you guys have any questions at all, please just write them below or send me an email to themindclinicnz@gmail.com or send me a private message through Facebook or Instagram. I'm absolutely happy to answer any questions that you guys have. Okay, so that is it for today. And then you can get on with part 2 when you're ready.